Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Finally got a regular slate that we can actually, have some fun on, but it's a 13-game slate. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. I make videos for NFL. All these videos, they get posted right here on this subreddit. It's called DF Sports. You can ask me questions leading up to lock. I'll be here after lock as well sometimes. I'll make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Anything you need, I'll be in this subreddit up to lock. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter. Right here are my handles. Or you can message me on Reddit as well. So before we get into this monstrosity of a slate, and we'll try to get through this video pretty quickly, let's go over my lineups from the past 2 days. So this was the in-season semi-final, I want to say. It was a two-game slate, I think. Had a really good day here. I forget what my core was, though. I want to say my core is Giannis, Trey Murphy, Bruce Brown, and Mathurin. I want to say it was either Middleton or Bruce. I think it was Bruce. Bruce busted, but I played both. Ended up getting into the cash there. And then this was the other night, and my core for this day was Bogdan Bogdanovic. He smashed DeJounte Murray. He smashed Duop Reith, a core play for me. He smashed Anthony Simons, a core play for me as well. He smashed. Or no. Yeah, that was the core. I thought I had Exum as a core play, but it was Reith over Exum. So back to back, I think I've cashed like 4 straight days in a row. It's been pretty cool. I did not cash on the showdown. I forgot to pull that up. I did not cash on that. Let me see if I can find my lineup for that. I went with the Jackson fade. I went with the TJ fade, and went with Rui Hachimura as a pivot. That didn't work out. Nothing you can do about it. So, alright, let's get into this 13-game slate. I'm going to try to do my best to go through this pretty quickly, because if I, do too much in-depth analysis, it's going to, take a while. So, Miami and Charlotte, good spot here for Miami. I think Butler's a solid spend up at 9K. I think price points definitely seem a bit right for the rest of his team, though. One thing I do want to mention is, though, Orlando Robinson obviously has been starting, but they went with Kevin Love over him last game. Kevin Love played 28 minutes last game. I'm not sure why that was the case. Like, if I knew Kevin Love played 28 minutes tomorrow at the 5, I would like him quite a bit, but I think they're kind of might just go with the hot hand here. Orlando Robinson had a pretty bad, I want to say, like, first or second stint, so going to be interesting to see. Like if Orlando is going to be low owned, then I definitely have interest. He's a pretty solid point per minute guy. It's a good spot going up against Charlotte. If he does play 30 minutes again, he's probably going to have a good game. So I definitely have interest in both the bigs here for Miami. Like I said, Jimmy Butler I think is a solid spend up going up against Charlotte. Caleb Martin seems priced about right, although he's been playing very well of late. Should see around 30 minutes. He's fine. I think he's priced appropriately though. And then I don't think I'll be going to anyone else onto Miami. It's mainly just interest in Butler, Caleb, and the bigs. Moving on to Charlotte, so tough spot here going up against Miami. We still have LaMelo Ball out. We have Mark Williams doubtful. So assuming Nick Richards does start at the 5, I think he is a very good value. Good point per minute guy, 28 minutes here. This is when he started, 24 fantasy points. He's about, I want to say, 0.9 fantasy points per minute. So I would expect, high 20s minutes for him. So assuming Nick Richards does start, I do like him quite a bit for value. And then also P.J. Washington will get the backup 5. You'll see a minutes bump for Brandon Miller. Those two would be solid plays in the mid-range. Gordon Hayward would be fine. And then Terzier, Miles Bridges. These two guys will lead the way offensively. They're also playing huge minutes right now, so I have no issue if you want to play either of them. I think they're both solid, even in a tough matchup. So I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to be going to any of the bench pieces. Looking at the rotation, actually we can look at the rotation, I guess, together of the last time. Mark Williams is out. I think it was in this game. Yeah, he was in last game. Where's the game that he was out? As you can see, they ran a very, 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 very tight rotation. PJ played a lot. Brandon Miller played 40 minutes. Nick Richards played 28 minutes. So, assuming they do that starting lineup again, I do like Nick Richards quite a bit. And then bumps to pretty much everyone. PJ, Miller, and then we know the two main guys are going to play huge minutes. And, yeah, let's move on to this game. So, not the best spots here for Washington. I guess we do have to keep an eye on news here with Daniel Gafford. He is questionable, so it'll be interesting to see who they start. I don't know if you want to start Kyle Kuzma at the 5 going up against Joel Embiid. I don't know if you want to do that. In times in the past, they've started Kyle Kuzma at the 5. They started Mike Muscala one time. You also have Gallinari. It's just disgusting. We'll keep an eye on who they do start. But if like a min-price Mike Muscala starts, then yeah, only risk is foul trouble going up against Embiid. I would think if Embiid's out on the other side, they would start Kyle Kuzma at the 5 because the Sixers have been going small without Embiid. So I guess keep an eye on the Embiid news, keep an eye on who Washington would start. We could have some value there. But not too much interest in Washington. I think Kuzma's okay if they want any chance of keeping this game close. It's going to have to be a big game from Kyle Kuzma, but not the best spot. Jordan Poole seems priced right at 6.5K. Also, his minutes do get trolled a ton. Tyus Jones also seems priced right. I will say he has played close to 30 minutes in his most recent games, but even then, I don't know. Gafford, if he plays, tough spot going up against Embiid. Not my favorite play. And then the value, like, yeah, if you want to go to like a Kispert, if you want to go to Gallinari, hoping Gafford gets into foul trouble, sure, why not? And then if Gafford's out, if Embiid's out on the other side and they start Kuzma at the 5, then I do like me some Kuzma. That if they start like Mike Muscala, I don't even think he's been in the rotation of late. I guess he was this game. If they start like a mid-price Mike Muscala, then yeah, I like some Mike Muscala. It's disgusting, I know, but yeah. Let's go over the Sixers. So it's all going to come down to Joel Embiid. If Joel Embiid plays, he's one of my favorite spin-ups on the slate going up against Washington. Now, we do have Kyrie Irving out, so Luka right now is my favorite spin-up on the slate. But Joel Embiid would be a close second. Just a phenomenal spot. You guys always know I like targeting Daniel Gafford. It's just a godly, godly, godly spot. I really like Embiid if he plays. Tyrese Maxey in a fast-paced game environment. Washington doesn't play a ton of defense. I think he's a solid play even at this price point. He thrives in matchups like this, so I like some Maxey. Tobias Harris, Melton, they seem priced right, but they're fine filler plays to me in this spot. And then something I want to keep an eye on here is Kelly Oubre's minutes have ticked up of late. 19 minutes his first game back, 24 here. If they're going to keep ticking up to like, say we get like 27 minutes of Kelly Oubre, then yeah, I definitely have interest at this price point. So I think Kelly Oubre is definitely interesting for tournaments, especially off the bench. Like he's going to be much, much more productive off the bench than in that starting lineup. So, and then if Embiid's out, then we'll would have even more interest. And then Batum's a playable value, and I don't think I'll go to anyone else. But if Embiid's out, that definitely changes everything. Then I absolutely love Tyrese Maxey. I really like Tobias Harris. I really like DeAnthony Melton. Kelly Oubre would be solid. We'll monitor who they start. They've been starting Morris. They've been doing just some absolute dumb shit here. But I would like Paul Reed for value. Batum would be fine. Rocco would be in play. There would just be a lot to like here with the Sixers. So, yeah, let's move on to Cleveland. All right, we got Mobley out. We got LeVert out. So I don't know what happened with Jared Allen's minutes. I really don't know what they were doing there. I guess they went small because Miami, I believe, I really don't know what they were doing. They just played Wade more. They played Niang some. So it's just disgusting stuff. I don't know if they can do that going up against Orlando. But not a good spot. Orlando's been very, very good defensively. So Mitchell, just a contrarian play for me. Garland, just a contrarian play for me. I guess my favorite play, once again, with no Mobley, is going to be Jared Allen. I would expect over 30 minutes here. With no Mobley, his rebounding, his floor, his ceiling goes way up, assuming they don't troll his minutes again. So I do like Jared Allen as a bounce-back candidate. This grouping of like Niang, Wade, Okoro, it's just disgusting, but they get a bump. If you want to go there for value, it's whatever. They're all priced right. Wade started last game. He played 25 minutes. It's fine. But yeah, not much here for Cleveland. Let's move on to Orlando. Not much here either. Tough spot going up against Cleveland. Paolo, more of a contrarian spin up for me. Franz, I think, is overpriced. If Suggs is out, you can go to Cole Anthony. Should play around 30 minutes. Good point per minute guy off the bench especially. He'll probably be my favorite play on this team if Suggs is out. Goga Patadze, sometimes he's not closing, so his minutes kind of up in question. Also a tough spot going up against Cleveland, so more of a contrarian play for me. Gary Harris started last game, but he's 5K. Definitely priced right if Suggs is out. There's just not much here, man. Ingles will get high teens minutes off the bench. Good point per minute guy. It's playable for large field tournaments, but I feel like we'll have better value. Like Anthony Black. If Suggs is out, I feel better about his minutes. He would be like a fine dart, but yeah, it's pretty disgusting. All right, moving on to the Pacers. Good spot here going up against Detroit. I have no issue once again if you want to play Halliburton. He's just doing everything for this team. He's playing huge minutes now. I definitely expect the minutes to tick down after the in-season tournaments back to like his normal 35, 36 minutes game. But even then, he's just doing everything for this team. He's stuffing the stat sheet. I would definitely rank Luka, Jokic, Embiid, SGA's in a good spot. Even Giannis maybe ahead of him, but still in play for me. In play for me every slate. Miles Turner at 7-3. I mean, just randomly got into foul trouble going up against. It's not random, but as long as he stays out of foul trouble, she'll play around 32 minutes. I think he's a solid play at 7-3. Good point per minute guy. So I do like Miles Turner for tournaments. I'm not gonna mess with the wings on this big of a slate. I'm just not gonna do it. I'll just look elsewhere. Just not going to do it. I will say T.J. McConnell did. I'm not even gonna mess with it. All right, Detroit. So the news you have to monitor here is Marvin Bagley is doubtful. So I think there's a number of combination of lineups they could do here. So they could just start Oscar Thompson, move Stewart to the 5. They could maybe start Wiseman, I guess. I think that would be the two likely scenarios. So if they start Thompson at 5.6K, I really like, he would just be too cheap. So I would like Thompson quite a bit. Stewart at the 5 would get a bump. He would be a solid play. Bojan feels priced about right. Cade in a really good spot. I really like him at 8.2K. Pacers put up a ton of points. What else? Killian Hayes at 5.5's played really, really well. I think he's fine to solid. So I'm pretty high on this Detroit team. If they start Wiseman, then obviously I like Wiseman. And then if they start Stewart at the 5, Wiseman will get the backup, but he's 5.2K. He would still be playable for large field tournaments just because he's a good point per minute guy. I wouldn't go there at that price point in my one lineup, but still does have a ceiling. But my main interest would be if he just randomly starts. But I think there's a couple of lineups they could do, like I said, Cade, Hayes, Bojan, Cade, Hayes, Bojan, Oscar, and Stu, or Cade, Hayes, Bojan, Stu Bagley. We'll see. But I definitely do like this Detroit team tomorrow. Moving on to Denver, so we have Jamal Murray is probable. I mean, Jokic, he's always going to be a great spin up. Just doing everything for this team. He's playing huge minutes. I really, really like Jokic. I don't know why the price keeps coming down as well. So really like Jokic here at the top. Jamal Murray's minutes ticking up. If they tick up even more, then I would say 7.6K is a fair price point for him. So would have interest there. Everyone else is just priced up for when everyone is out. So everyone else is basically just a cross off for me. Excuse me. Atlanta, tough spot going up against Denver. So Trey, one of my least favorite spin-ups on the slate. Everyone's priced up from when everyone was out. So DeJounte Murray, I think, is a bit pricey. Bogdan's a bit pricey. The centers, they'll split the center minutes. Sadiq Bey is priced up. Hard to go there. There's just not much here. We have Hunter questionable. We'll see if he's out. They could do a number of things with the starting lineup. But, yeah, pretty unappealing. Everyone's priced up. On to Toronto. So tough matchup here going up against the Knicks. Pretty sloggy-ish game here. Slow-paced environment. So Scotty, Siakam, more contrarian plays for me. Dennis Schroeder at 6.2K. I mean, feels priced about right. What else? OG going to play huge minutes. Good defender. Can get block steals. I think he's pretty safe in the mid-range just with the amount of minutes he's playing. And then Jakob Poeltl at 5'8". Should play mid-20s minutes. A fine tournament player for me. But we do have Mitchell Robinson out on the other side of this game as well. Then Gary Trent should get low 20s minutes off of the bench. I think he's, we don't have a ton of value on this slate, so I think he's actually a solid value. Just if he's not hitting his shots, he does have this type of floor. Moving on to the Knicks. So we have Brunson questionable. We have Mitchell Robinson out. So this is going to change the entire slate. So if Brunson is in, then Randall Brunson, I don't like the spot for either. They would both be more contrarian plays for me. RJ Barrett at 5'8" definitely intrigues me. There are points where they will extend him when he's playing well, and he has this type of ceiling. So I would say RJ Barrett is definitely interesting just because the price point is cheap and he does have this type of ceiling. And then I would assume Isaiah Hartenstein starts at 5. I really like him for value. Good point per minute guy. Expect decent minutes for him. So I really like Isaiah Hartenstein. Don't like anything else off of the bench. I will say they did start Dante DiVincenzo last game. I think he's a fine value, but if Brunson's out, then that changes everything. Then I absolutely love Quickly. Dante would look better. RJ would look really good. I would like RJ a ton. Randall would look solid. Already really like Hartenstein. Like I said, Dante would be solid. Probably get a boost for like Grimes, even though it's disgusting. There would just be definitely a decent amount to like here for the Knicks. Moving on to Dallas, so probably one of my more favorite teams to target on the slate. No Kyrie Irving, so Luka, best spin up on the slate in my opinion. His usage, his rates, he's just going to have to do absolutely everything. So absolutely love Luka here. If you take a look, let's take a look at the rotation when Kyrie went down. If you guys don't know what this is NBA Wowie. You can look at rotations for pretty much any team you want. And we'll just look at it together. You should do this after every game or every night if you can for the next slate. So obviously Kyrie got hurt. Tim Hardaway Jr. played huge minutes. Obviously Dante Exum played huge minutes after that. And then you're going to get huge minutes for the main guys. So Grant Williams still out. Josh Green still out. Max Kleber obviously still out. Now you have Kyrie Irving out. So let's go over the top. Luka Doncic, like I said, probably the best spin up on the slate. I really, really like Luka. Dante Exum at 5'7". I still like him quite a bit at 5'7". Not scared of that price point. Derek Lively, I would expect around 30 minutes. Good point per minute guy. He's solid play. Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm expecting huge minutes from. I really like him at 5'4". Derek Jones Jr., I think is solid. I think I prefer Tim Hardaway Jr., but both solid. Probably going to see him, might see some Seth Curry. Just disgusting, but playable. And I don't think I'd go to anyone else. But yeah, definitely going to have some interest in this Dallas team tomorrow with no Kyrie. They're just going to have to play huge minutes. So moving on to Memphis, I think Desmond Bane looks pretty good. Sub 9K going up against Dallas. 37, 36 minutes. He is their clear go-to guy right now. I think he is a bit too cheap. I think he should be like a 9K player. So I like Desmond Bane quite a bit. Jaren Jackson Jr., if he can just stay out of foul trouble, has the ceiling. I feel like nobody's going to want to play him tomorrow. I like the spot as well. So I think Jaren's a solid play too at 7-8. Not going to play Aldama. Not going to play the bigs. What they're doing with Derrick Rose's rotation is just absolutely disgusting. I don't understand that. Roddy, he's a playable value, but not one of my favorites, but it's fine. And then I'm not going to go to anyone else. Moving on to Utah. So Walker Kessler out. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. Also a number of things they could do. They could start John Collins at the 5. They could start Yurt 7. They could start Kelly Olynyk. They could just do a number of things here. So if they start Yurt 7, obviously I like Yurt 7 a ton. Kelly Olynyk would intrigue me. If they start John Collins at the 5, I'd like John Collins at 6'9". He just gets a huge bump at the 5. Clarkson, kind of with the team himself, I think is a solid tournament play. I don't think anyone's going to want him, so I really like Clarkson for tournaments. Keontae George is fine, but it takes a usage hit with Clarkson back. I don't think I'm going to mess with anyone else. I think the main interest right here is the bigs, Clarkson, and whoever they start at the 5 would be interesting to me. Moving on to OKC, so it's really, really good spot for SGA. I think, him, SGA, Jokic, Embiid, and Luka are probably my favorite spin-ups on the slate. So I do like SGA for tournaments. Even at this price point, I think he deserves it. He's just been insane, man. He's shooting the ball 20 plus times. He's stuffing his stat sheet. He's doing absolutely everything. Good spot going up against Utah as well. So SGA is a good spend up. Chet Holmgren at 7.5 I think is fine for tournaments. Range of outcomes for him is way, way up and down. Good shot blocker. When he goes for this many blocks, that's when he does have the ceiling game. Didn't have it here, but he had a really bad game here. But minutes up and down, but does have an insane ceiling. So interested in Chet for tournaments. Josh Giddey has played 25 minutes back-to-back. If he plays 25 minutes again at this price point, he's just fine. I don't mind it. And then Jalen Williams, I think, is priced right, but playing huge minutes. He's taken a big uptick this year, and Josh Giddey's taken a downtick. I think he's solid at 6.5. And then we'll monitor Dort. If he's out, it's going to be more minutes for like Isaiah Joe, Casey Wallace. They would be playable values. We don't have a ton of value on the slate, so yeah, they would be fine values if he's out. All right, Anthony Edwards is questionable. We also could have Jaden McDaniels coming back. So if Ant's in, going up against the Pelicans, I don't love much here. Rudy Gobert has been phenomenal of late, but even then, everyone's priced up from all the injuries they've had. Like you have NAW at 6K, Troy Brown at 5.1, Slow-Mo's 5K, Nas Reed is 5.5. Like everyone's priced up, so I don't think it would change too much for me. I will say if Ant's out, I would assume Troy Brown would move into the starting lineup. At 5.1, he'd be fine. And then, what else? NAW would be priced right, but still does have a ceiling. I think the last time Ant went down, he just went for absurd, absolutely absurd. But he is 5.9 now. Mike Conley, 6.5, like everyone's priced up. I will mention Nas Reed just because they are playing him alongside Gobert and Cat at times, and we know he's a really good point per minute guy, so I'd actually do have some interest in Nas Reed, and then Kyle Anderson at 5K will get a slight minutes bump uptick as well. He'd be fine as well. And then obviously if McDaniels is in, I would assume McDaniels would move into the starting lineup, but we'll keep an eye on if he's on some type of limit or not. Moving on to the Pelicans. So really bad spot here going up against the Timberwolves, best defensive team in the league right now. So Zion, Ingram, CJ, when they're all healthy, it's tough for me to want to get to any of them. They kind of just eat each other's usage. So basically just a cross-off for me in my one lineup. Jonas Valanciunas has been playing around 30 minutes as long as he stays out of foul trouble. I don't like the spot going up against Minnesota, but a good point per minute guy. Herb Jones will play huge minutes. He seems priced right. And then I will mention Alvarado. He should get around 20 minutes off the bench. We know he's a pretty good point per minute guy. Fine value for your 20 max, 150 maxers. Just thought I would mention him. Moving on to Chicago, not the best spot going up against the Bulls, but we do have Levine out, and then we do have everyone priced up. So I still like DeMar, I still like Vooch at their price points. These two guys are going to lead the way for this team. They're also going to play huge minutes. My only concern here is if they can keep this game close, because they're so bad right now. But I like DeMar, I like Vooch. Kobe White at 7.3 has been really, really good as well, and also playing huge minutes. I don't mind him. I think he's close in price point now to where I'd rather just play one of Vooch or DeRozan, but Kobe White definitely has the best spot as far as matchups goes. Milwaukee hasn't been the best against opposing guards of late, so if you want the guy playing in the best spot, Kobe White would definitely be that guy. But straight up, I guess if I had to rank them given matchups, DeMar, Kobe White, Vooch, but it's close. I think they're all fine plays. Patrick Williams, Caruso, they're priced right for my liking, and then I don't think I'll be playing anyone else here. Let's move on to Milwaukee. So, Giannis, always in play for me for tournaments. Don't mind him, also playing big minutes, but that was the in-season tournament as well. Dame priced right, Brook Lopez priced right. Middleton, his minutes did tick up in the in-season tournament. I'm very curious if they are going to keep him around 30 minutes, because if I knew Middleton did play 30 minutes tomorrow, I would like him quite a bit at this price point. I'm just not sure if they go back down to his regular limit. So keep an eye on what they do with his minutes. I definitely think he's intriguing tomorrow. I don't think I'll be going to anyone else, though, on this big of a slate. Spurs going up against Houston, another very, very tough spot. So Wemby, I think, is priced right, but he does have an insane ceiling. He's always in play for tournaments for me. Keldon, no thank you. They did start Jeremy Sochan last game. They moved Chetty Osman back to the bench. If they do go back to Chetty Osman, I do like Chetty Osman for value. If they start Sochan's pretty safe at 5'4". Prices come down. He was like 6K in the starting lineup when he was playing, so you're getting a discount on him. So I like Sochan if they move him back into the starting lineup, and I don't really like much else here. Zach Collins at 6'2", I think is fine. And I believe they started Branham too. If he starts, he is a fair value, but he has started in the past, and they've just completely trolled his minutes, so be careful there. Moving on to Houston. So I'm going to keep saying it. I still like Sengun. I still like Fred VanVleet quite a bit. They're both playing huge minutes. I still think Sengun's a bit too cheap. I still think Fred VanVleet's a bit too cheap. Both over a fantasy point per minute. They're playing around 40 minutes. They're going to project very, very well for their price points. So I still like Sengun. They're going to project fine. Maybe not very, very well, but they're very, very safe. So I still like Sengun. Still like Fred VanVleet. I think Jalen Green's priced right. Jabari Smith, I don't know what they're doing with his minutes of late. This game, he just didn't play the fourth. Only played 25 minutes here. I don't know if he got hurt or anything, but if he's only going to play around 30 minutes, just a tournament play for me. Dylan Brooks is questionable. We also have Tari Eason questionable. If Eason plays, he's a fine value. And then if Brooks is out, they could do a number of things as well. Maybe Jason Tate starts. If he starts, I actually do like Tate for value. Keep it on the Brooks news and what they do there. Moving on to Brooklyn. Sorry, I'm trying to get through this pretty quickly. So moving on to Brooklyn. So Mikal Bridges. And we do also have Dennis Smith Jr. out here. We have Lonnie Walker out here, and we have Ben Simmons out here. I think they're already ruled out. Lonnie Walker's out for 7 games, and then Dennis Smith. Yeah, okay, cool. So you're probably going to see huge minutes for Dinwiddie with no Dennis Smith Jr. I think he's going to have to play pretty big minutes. I don't know if the field's going to recognize that, so I have interest in Dinwiddie for that sole reason. It's also going to help his ball handling a little bit as well. Bridges, I like his ceiling for tournaments. Nets are running pretty tight rotation. Now you also have Lonnie Walker and Dennis Smith Jr. out. So the main guys are going to get a minutes bump. I think they're going to have to play Cam Thomas a bit more as well. So I like him for tournaments. Claxton, they keep trolling his minutes. I don't understand it. They're playing Day'Ron Sharpe. They're playing Watford. So he's just a tournament play. I don't know what they're doing there. Cam Johnson feels priced about right to me. And I think my main interest is in the guards. Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas, and then Mikal Bridges. Sacramento. So we do have Malik Monk questionable. If he's out, it's going to help the wings. Kevin Huerter will probably be my favorite there. Sabonis, Fox, they're fine contrarian spenders for me. And then if Monk's out, it's also probably going to help guys you might see Davion in the rotation. Might help Sasha, etc. But they would be fine darts. All right, so we have Brogdon and Ayton both questionable. So I don't have a lean on if they're going to be playing or not. I really, really don't. If Brogdon and Ayton are both in, everyone's priced up like Brogdon, Sharpe, Simons, they would all be in play for me, but they would all be priced appropriately right now. Ayton, we'll see. Could also be on a limit as well. It would probably just take this whole team basically out of play for me. If they are out, though, then it's right back to Simons. I would really like Sharpe. Duarte Reith, one thing to note is he had a better rotation last game. He was not in foul trouble here. I know it says he has 5 fouls, but he was not in foul trouble here. Only had 1 in the first half, and I think he picked up 3 in the third quarter, but he was coming out for his normal rotation anyway. In this game, right here, going up against Dallas, his rotation was completely different. He was on pace to play 25 plus minutes. So that's one thing to know. If Ayton's out, assuming they continue to start Reith, I do like Reith with his new rotation that they had him in last game. And then if Brogdon's out, like I said, I like Sharpe. I like Simons again a lot. Scoot would be playable at 5'3", and then Kamara, Thibault. These guys are going to have to play huge minutes. They would both be in play. It pains me to say it, but I actually would like some Thibault just because he's going to have to play some huge minutes. And Kamara would be fine for value as well. It's just disgusting. It pains me to say it, but they would honestly be fine. Jabari Walker at 4.09 would have to play some minutes. He would be a solid value. There would just be a decent amount to like here if those guys are out. Clippers, I don't like much. Paul, Kawhi, Harden, they're all fine. Harden probably my favorite. They have Daniel Theis back. Unlucky, because if Theis was out, I would really like Zubac, because he would have to play huge minutes. And I mentioned this in Discord. If Theis was out, I really like Zubac, and he played huge minutes and he smashed. So that's unfortunate that Theis is back. That's definitely a bit unfortunate. But Zubac's still in play, and then I don't think I like much else here. So that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. Hope you guys had a good night tonight. Good week of football, and I will talk to you all in the next one.